So the last thing I was starting to think about my slow meanderings around town. Meanderings, I like that. When you take an antiquated term, who even knows if the Meander River is even? It's most certainly no longer called the Meander River. But I mean, when you take an old word like that, you know, and then like only use it even more strangely. I just love. That's why I love my language. I love the English language. American English is so great for that. We could just construct words in ways that are better. Words so great they'll get us to Mars, as De La Soul would have said. But so, see, now that's an obscure reference right there. But I know one buddy from back in the day will totally remember that one. So the thing I started to think about was apparently one of the reps for the Democratic House. Apparently, one of these guys has fundamentally brought up that they should cancel the Chicago DNC, and I really want to get across that there's no way we're letting this one just sneak by. No. This is one of the most important decisions the Democratic Party is ever going to make, because if they cancel Chicago DNC, the mockery is going to be endless, for one. But then two, what it does for Chicago's business sector. I mean, that's not good. That's really, really not good. It's this idea that no, we couldn't have this political rally in one of the most strongest historical Democratic strongholds, a place that had elected that Chicago is where you get the entire new Democratic Party, this neoliberal monster party that has come up, and that they can now not have a political rally for their own party in their city. So on their turf, in every possible concept, they cannot. And it's not even that. This idea that really threw me off is when you walk through it a few times, try to put it. It's not that they can't have the rally in Chicago because of some permitting. They can't have the rally in Chicago because of no. It's that Chicago is so unruly, so violent, so completely ungovernable now, that this rep didn't even want to say why they couldn't have the DNC in Chicago. He didn't even want to say the words why. He couldn't bring up why they can't have the DNC in Chicago. And they know why. Because they know Black Chicago will show up to the DNC and then it will be over. Then it's done. Their party is completely and totally done if that happens. In a way that, I mean, it's going to be one of the biggest moments in American political history if that happens. If the DNC's at Chicago and there's gates everywhere and there's stuff being stolen and there's criming going on as people come into town, and then if the DNC goes to Chicago, the beauty of it is this is sort of the horrible understanding, how this whole thing of no, the right understands the left, the left doesn't understand the right. That the DNC, it's that the pro-Palestinian protesters for the DNC in Chicago are now the new factor. This is why they're deathly afraid of this. The blacks and the pro-Palestinians coming out to protest oh my God, it's so good. It'll be so good. And the thing is, there's almost no way that this can't happen in some way that's disastrous. Like, so even if it's like this idea, like, okay, we're not going to have the DNC in Chicago, we're going to have it in, Philadelphia or something like that, still doesn't help. The nut jobs will show up to make some kind of trouble. But then it's a matter of how bad of an environment will it be? What city? Like, what city will they choose? And it'll be a terrible. And then now the whole idea too is, how do you book it? Because from what I'm gathering, what this would entail is simply canceling it. So much has been booked that the DNC would have to cancel their actual rally entirely. And I mean, holy crap. What an opponent. This is amazing. Like, this is why I'm saying the right wing just simply now kind of has to sit back and watch as this goes sort of worse and worse and worse. Because, if you were running security for the DNC, what would you be worried about? Okay, if you're running security for the DNC, are there a bunch of people who are going to show up and beat up Jews? Or are there going to be a bunch of people who show up just to beat up the whites? Or will there be some NGO that will gin up a riot among the immigrants? Will the immigrants show up magically all wearing clean t-shirts that say, like, re-elect Biden? Like, how disastrous will it be? So at this point, it becomes like, what kind of credibility could you possibly have, Democrats, at this stage? Like, because this is so bad. Like, what possible credibility do you have at this stage? Because now you're really stuck with, like, okay, can you guys guarantee the safety of your own candidates, of your own, what are those? Not state representatives. The people who, the proud state of Hawaii says aloha to President Biden, yeah, it's gone. Oh, my brain is getting more and more like this as I get older. This is happening. Let me warn you, young men. You just don't even know when it happened. You just forget a word. It's just gone. It's gone. You have no idea where it went. You had it. You're like, oh yeah. No, that's not the word I was looking for. Oh darn, it's gone. So, but yeah. So this is just a disaster for the DNC, for the Democrats. Because all this, what the key thing here is who's going to mock all of this and how hard. Like Gutfield and people like that. It's like, it's Twitter. It's the Twitter guys on the Twitter meme people. And so, so while the left is coming up with flags, like this flag means that I am like a furry puppy who also is a lesbian, even though I'm a big fat pale guy. I'm a big fat powerful brown person who has a feeling that they feel things, and so I have a flag. Just, it's just, so while if the DNC is even remotely like 68, remotely, you don't even need a fraction of that violence. It's over for them for like 20 years. They'll be trying to repair the rifts in their own party for 20 years. But the thing is, they also have established themselves in a way that nobody knows what they really stand for. They know kind of what the Democrats stand against. They don't know really what they stand for. The GOP is making it too... The GOP has too many cowards in its leadership ranks, so they don't have enough people backing Rand Paul and Rand Paul's stances, which are overwhelmingly popular. Rand Paul is overwhelmingly popular in the recent wave of Trump supporting voters, of Republicans. This idea, when they get familiar with his libertarian-based stances, they're like, why are we not? What's going on with this guy? Like, why is this man not? Why is this not the guy? How is this guy waiting for his opportunity one day? What the hell? And so that's only going to get more and more, become more and more of a thing as the economy shrinks. This is now, there we go. That's what it was. The shrinking of the economy. So this is going to also be one of these things about, this is the credibility of the general academic and scholars of the left. The right wing knew about demographic demise 12, 14 years ago. We all could talk about that on YouTube, the demographic demise, the actual video, what all of us were discussing. Now, the left is starting to catch on to this. The normal media is starting to catch on to, wait, at these rates of reproduction, at these rates of da-da-da, and now everyone's starting to figure out, oh my gosh, be fruitful was wisdom. To be fruitful on earth is wisdom. And oh no, what's going to happen? So the right are the only ones with kids. The left already there's major cities that they're going to have to close down double-digit number of schools within about a year to 2 years' time because of how many people have left their cities. So there's so few people having kids in the blue enclaves. They've scared so many people with kids to move to, of course, Florida. They ban books. And so it's too bad because that's where they're moving, and they're going to build schools there. And you know who's not going to be teaching there? Liberals. These people aren't going to allow liberals to teach their kids. These people are having kids now, are hip to the game, and they're going to keep liberals out of the game. Liberals will not be allowed to teach in the places that have kids. They're going to have to fight for jobs teaching in blue enclaves full of aging women. That's how that's going to go. Maybe they're going to keep it up with post-secondary education, junior college, various colleges, things like that. But overall, it's the numbers aren't there. It's not good. The numbers aren't there. What the long-term tells us, what the long-term trend tells us, it's going to take about another 10 years. And the blue enclaves are going to be getting crushed by the costs of old women. The necessities of aging women. Roads have to be altered for the aged. Like where things are located has to be altered for the aged. It doesn't matter. I'm not even saying this out of mockery. I'm like, no, I'm going to get old. I like walking, but at some point, like when my foot was injured, I didn't walk as much. And I really had to think about, oh God, I'm going to have to walk for this amount of time, and then I'm going to have to da-da-da-da-da, and then re-bandage my foot, and blah, 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 blah. So it's, so I know, like, as people get older, especially the female populations in blue enclaves. We're going to have to make things more convenient because they're not getting smaller. They're not getting younger, more spry, and smaller. So it's at some point, the adaptation to everyone getting old is going to have to be made, except in the red enclaves. Where the Republicans are, they're going to have people with families, fully formed families. They're also going to have much more likely churches and charitable organizations that are natural to Christian society. A lot of the stances that the GOP is trying to take, where Christian America, Christian nationalism, this, that, and it's I don't have any problem with them, with people trying to find kind of a unifying identity or some kind of call, something you could say like, no, this is us as opposed to somebody else, because they want to have some credibility, but they got to have credibility. The right wing has to have its credibility. And a lot of what's going on culturally with the right, actually now trying to really concentrate on, we need to focus on the kids, the making sure the kids understand this is why the laws, the structure of our laws are this way. This is, and to really grasp American history, American civics. And so they're American, because that's what makes our system the way it is. It's the American civic system, the way our laws are, the way our customs are. And so, and these, and while these change, there's some things that's like, well, no, we have this system of law, mostly because of trial and error. And it's wisdom. It was inherited from the past. It's wisdom inherited from the past. And that's another thing the right has to concentrate on. We are the ones who heed wisdom. We heed the wisdom. The others don't heed wisdom. The left does not believe in such things because you can be foolish. That's the difference. If you're not being wise, then you're being a fool, and you're being foolhardy, and you're not listening to wisdom. So you're rebellious, and you're rebellious against wisdom. And it's this, that's now the thing now, is time tells us political violence it always goes horribly wrong. Consumes the people who bring it to the streets, consumes their movement, and it usually ends up killing off their own leadership at some point. Now we're just waiting to see it happen. That's wisdom. It's just a matter of time until something about human behavior shows its natural logical pattern to its end. Politically violent people consume themselves in the long run. So so it's just a matter of waiting for events to pass, waiting for that time to come. And we know it will. And I mean, and that even the Democrats are telling themselves, oh my God, we see it. This is like 68. And then the thing is, people don't get, like, okay, so it's like 68, but why are then blacks voting Republican? Because you didn't have a legitimate movement of black pride in power. It wasn't legit. It wasn't a legit movement. It was you faked it. You had people posing as a black racial movement, but these were homosexual activists. And too many people didn't want to have shit to do with it, and the only people who did want to have something to do with it, it turns out, were grifting and ripped everybody off. That when D. Ray McKesson met with all these various characters of the pro-black world, you could see he didn't fit in. D. Ray McKesson from BLM didn't fit into that political activist scene. They didn't want to have anything to do with BLM, and so BLM was just, they were phony from the very beginning. And and it won't be something else. Like, that's why Lord Jamar said BLM, if we're 5%ers, BLM is not our movement because we are black, and this has nothing to do with black people. And I loved it. I just love that Lord Jamar nailed it. And he said it's their movement. Who's they? You know. And it was, whoo. And yeah, Lord Jamar said it. So you got good luck with Chicago, the Chicago rally Democrats. Good luck. Boy, oh boy.